welcome back to Linda's Pantry. So today we're going to finish processing that meat. I actually had a couple people ask me if I would bring them along for a ride of the finishing. And I mean, that video got pretty lengthy because I wanted to make sure I got all the information out. And there were a few things that I forgot, so I will include them in this video. I hope I can remember to do all that. I'll write some stuff down. And I've got everything, you know, cut up. It's ready to go in packages, except for the grind meat. So we're gonna do our ground meat, and we might do some sausage, and I've got some delicious burger meat that's gonna go together. And so I just thought you might wanna see how I do that. I've got some steaks that I'll be doing kind of a cube steak method, and we'll take you along for the ride. If you're interested, I hope you stay along. And if you like this somewhere along the line, I hope you give me that thumbs up and go over and visit my Facebook page and my Wild Tree website. I'll have those links below. And so anyways, guys, I didn't waste one bit, and Sage ended up with 7 weeks of packages to go in her weekly dog food mixture. And so that's truly quite nice, and really not a lot of waste. If you didn't have a dog, that's where it would go. Hopefully you would give it to a friend who had a dog. But in reality, we shouldn't be wasting one little bit of it, and we aren't wasting any part of this. I also was able to put 4 bones for her to have as treats and daytime companions, as it were, in the freezer. And she's enjoyed having a bone, which is pretty fun to watch because she's really never been allowed to have them much. So anyhow, I hope this brings you along for the ride, guys. Let's go do this and get this job done. It's a lot of work. Okay, guys, I'm glad you stayed along for this. It's really pretty simple, but I did want to answer a few questions that I got on the last video. And one was about the vinegar and what was that really being used for. And I'll tell you, the vinegar really and truly is just being used for sanitation purposes. It's a natural sanitizer, and it doesn't turn the meat gray. It keeps the water from waterlogging the meat. And so I'd rather, I mean, I don't want, who wants to eat a gray steak? You want to eat a piece of red meat. You don't want to eat a gray steak. So it just gets any bacteria that might be on the outside of that meat off, and you're ready to go. So that was one question. Another question was the aging thing, and some people soak, apparently, I've never heard of this, but some people soak the meat in salt water, and I don't even like, I mean, when I soak vegetables in salt water, it draws out all the moisture, and so I would be hesitant to do that. But I mean, some people told me that they've been doing it for years and it works great. And Morton Salt actually makes a special salt for it. So I learned something along this journey as well, and I've been doing this way for as long as I can remember, and it works for us, but I'm always open to learn new things. So these are the steaks that I'll be packaging up, and I'm not going to, I really want to, I want to have plenty of steaks as well as grind meat. So honestly, all I'm going to do, got my bags open, I'm going to put enough for Michael and I to have steak, maybe, you know, like 2 small ones, because I like to have it the next day in a, you know, alongside a salad or in a sandwich or a burrito, or so a nice big one and a small one or 2. And I finally got it all processed though, which is good. And I wanted to show you something. Let's see, I'll do it here on this board. Maybe I'll, instead of dirtying that whole big board, I'll dirty this one for a minute. I wanted to show you what I do for a cube steak of sorts. So let me get I need my knife. My shop knife. Okay. Okay. So basically what you're gonna do, and however you do this is totally up to you. I'm not an expert with the knife, but I get the job done, and I did not cut myself one time during this deer expedition, which is unusual. Usually I get at least one cut. It's usually right at the end, so probably shouldn't speak too soon. This is a meat tenderizer, and you're literally coming down and going over and over and over. There's little sharp blades that come through here. Now they do have a machine that you can buy. It's quite expensive, that you run it through and cube it. We don't eat cube steaks or chicken fried steak often enough to buy that kind of, you know, equipment. But this does the job. If you've got it thin, a thin piece of meat, it's kind of a workout too. And it actually spreads that meat right out. And then after I do that, I will take a piece of saran wrap, or even, you know, you can even put it, actually this is probably even better, put it into a heavier plastic Ziploc. These are just storage bags, but they're heavier than saran would be. Take that board off there. And you could close it, but you need air to be able to escape. And you're just going to beat the... Yeah. Turn it over. And there I have what I'm going to call my version of cube steak for when we want to have chicken fried steak. These actually came out beautiful. So they're all tenderized. They're nice and thin, as you can see. You can almost see light through them. They're at least as thin, maybe a little thinner than what you get in the store, but that's how I do my cube steak. It's quick, it's easy. I don't have to have an expensive machine, so I'll set these aside for when I do some more. I want to show you that though, because maybe I'll put those in with this package. And then one big one. And then we'll have 3 pounds. I try to make them about a pound, a little over a pound a piece. It's usually just Michael and I, but I know if I have, you know, if somebody stops by our house, I don't let anybody leave hungry. And so if there's a little over a pound or that little extra steak, I can always eat that and they can have my portion. And I don't mind at all. So I'm going to rinse my hand off. You try to get as much of the air out as you can. And I bought that little tool that I tenderize the meat with. It's kind of nice because if these steaks, if I think they're going to be a little tough, I can always put that through it. I don't have to pound them. It works great for chicken, and I got that gadget, believe it or not, at World Market. You know me, I'm kind of a gadget girl. Especially when it comes to anything that has to do with cooking or preserving or, you know, trying to have a better way of life for our family. Okay, I've got some paper right here. And I showed you the other night how to wrap. So I'm going to get these wrapped up, and those packages, get them out in the freezer. Boom, that's done, and I'm going to start grinding. I'll be right back. Okay, that didn't take very long at all. Anyways, I wanted to let you know I've got 4 4 or 5 of these big bowls that have meat in them. So I'll still have more steaks to come, but thankfully most of this meat should not have to be cut and all that. So I'm gonna start feeding meat down through this and grind. I did want to say those little steaks that I pounded out, those would be great little breakfast steaks or sandwich steaks. Yeah, I started thinking as I was putting them in the bag, ooh, I could see a steak sandwich in my future. I love this little grinder. Just turn it on and let her go. It's easy to clean. So I'm going to pick through these pieces. I don't want pieces that have a ton of sinew on them. I don't mind a little fat, but I don't want any sinew. Really, deer meat's so lean that I don't have much fat. See, here's some more steak coming through. I'm just picking through the really lean, clean pieces that don't have any bristle or sinew in them, that I know will go through the grinder real easy. Look how pretty that is. And ask for more than that. The other stuff that does have the sinew and stuff, I'll save it for stewing and braising, and so we get a nice balance. Now I could have, if I'd have been organized, I could have separated all the bowls and steaks into one, but because of the, you know, how I had to do it in time, I just did it this way, and it works. Grinding away. Okay, we're gonna keep this going, and I don't think you have to watch all that. You kind of get the general idea of what I'm doing. I'm gonna go ahead and pick through the rest of this, and then what's left in this bowl, like I said, is stew meat, and I will package that up. And let me tell you, that stew, we put it over these Amish egg noodles that you need a recipe. If anybody's got a recipe, let me know, because they're delicious, unbelievably delicious. Anyway, these big wide Amish egg noodles, and just poured that thick stew over top of them last night, and it was freezing out, and it just really hit the spot, and it was so much better than the first night. And I don't know how you could get any better, but it's just like spaghetti sauce. It gets better as the spices, you know, just meld together. So, okay, I think I've got this pretty well picked through. I'm gonna finish this bowl up, package up that stew meat and that grind meat that's in that bowl, and I'll be back. How easy is this? It's no sweat. Okay, and I'll package up those steaks too, because there's another few packages there. All right, guys. Okay, guys, so let's zoom you in. Bowl 2 of the meat. I've already got 2 big packages, and this is how I like my packages of stew meat to be. Big. You saw how I made my stew. I don't scrimp on the meat. Anyway, because I tend to pick it out periodically as I'm cooking it. So it's a good 2 pounds or more of meat. So I got 2 of those out of the last bowl, and 2 big 1.5-pound size bags of ground beef or ground venison out of the grinder, and then 7 packages of steaks with 3 each in each bag. And so that's pretty good out of that bowl. This one is mostly, I've picked through it already, like I said, to get those pieces of my stew meat out, and I just kind of pick through. And if I don't think that it should be going in my grinder, okay, here's a good example. Let's see if I can show you. See that little vein of sinew and kind of a gristly, hard vein of that will get clogged in the grinder. And then you got to take it apart. And I just, it's not worth the hassle. So I'm throwing it in the stew meat. I used to grind all of that, and then I'd have to take the grinder apart 3 or 4 times during the process. And we love stew and braised meat just as much as anything. You can use it for canning. It's really good. Canned venison and elk are delicious. So I'm going to get to grinding this, and I'll let you know how much I get out of this bowl. See what we got. This one's going to be a lot more grind meat. Gotta get it started. Grind meat, but I don't do that anymore. It's just as good. In fact, we just had, or I fixed my husband so he could taste it. Now those biscuits I made the other night for the stew, I just put one in the microwave for about 10 seconds and made a little burger patty and have little biscuit sliders, venison sliders. Nothing wrong with that. If you have a KitchenAid and you do anything like this, or you're trying to save money at the grocery store, I've been doing my own ground beef for a long time. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't buy it. I still buy it. I try to buy the best I can from a trusted company, but, I've been doing this. Usually, if I get London broil on sale, and you make London broil ground beef, oh my goodness, it's like ground steak. So, anyways, that's what I'm doing. I'm going to finish this bowl. I'll bring you back on the next bowl. How's that? Okay, guys. So, let's zoom you in. Bowl 2 of the meat. I've already got 2 big packages. And this is how I like my packages of stew meat to be. Big. You saw how I made my stew? I don't scrimp on the meat. Anyway, because I tend to pick it out periodically as I'm cooking it. So it's a good 2 pounds or more of meat. So I got 2 of those out of the last bowl, and 2 big 1.5-pound sized bags of ground beef or ground venison out of the grinder, and then 7 packages of steaks with 3 each in each bag. And so that's pretty good out of that bowl. This one is mostly, I've picked through it already, like I said, to get those pieces of my stew meat out. And I just kind of picked through. And if I don't think that it should be going in my grinder, okay, here's a good example. Let's see if I can show you. See that little vein of sinew and kind of a gristly, hard vein of that will get clogged in the grinder. And then you got to take it apart. And I just, it's not worth the hassle. So I'm throwing it in the stew meat. I used to grind all of that, and then I'd have to take the grinder apart 3 or 4 times during the process. And we love stew and braised meat just as much as anything. You can use it for canning. It's really good. Canned venison and elk are delicious. So I'm going to get to grinding this, and I'll let you know how much I get out of this bowl. See what we got. This one's going to be a lot more grind meat. Gotta get it started. that anymore. It's just as good. In fact, we just had, or I fixed my husband so he could taste it. Now those biscuits I made the other night for the stew, I just put one in the microwave for about 10 seconds and made a little burger patty and have little biscuit sliders, venison sliders. Nothing wrong with that. I highly recommend if you have a KitchenAid and you do anything like this, or you're trying to save money at the grocery store. I've been doing my own ground beef for a long time. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't buy it. I still buy it. I try to buy the best I can from a trusted company, but, you know, I've been doing this. Usually, if I get London broil on sale, and you make London broil ground beef, oh my goodness, it's like ground steak. So, anyways, that's what I'm doing. I'm going to finish this bowl. I'll bring you back on the next bowl. How's that? Okay, we're on big bowl 3. This bowl full of grind makes 4 really nice sized packages, less 2 more sliders for my husband. One wasn't enough to have a teaser. And 2 big packages of stew meat. And the stew meat, I pack those quart bags as full as I can get them. The grind meat, it's about 1.5 pounds. I do 4 big handfuls. I figure that's probably 5 giant burgers and or a meatloaf or whatever I decide to do with it. Or, you know, yeah. So that's what that last bowl was. This bowl, look at how many steaks I've already pulled out of there. So this bowl has quite a few steaks and a lot of stew meat. So I'm pretty excited. So this was a bowl that had a lot of shank meat in it, and you know, I'm picking through whatever I can grind. I'm going to grind, but that's how I do it, and it's working out really well. Trying to think if there were any other questions that came up. Oh, somebody asked me if I had a cooler to hang it in, and no, where we were camping, there's a little bar and out in the middle of nowhere, a little bar and restaurant that has an RV park and showers, and they have a cooler. You can hang your deer in there. As long as there's no hide or hair on it, they don't mind. And we've been friends with Tom for about, wow, 15 years. We tried to buy the place at one point in time. I was gonna be one of those owners, but I'd have worked 17 or 18 hours a day for the last 15 years, so I'm probably glad I didn't do it. Although it's always been really fun to go up there and work. So, that being said, we're gonna get back to processing this deer meat, and gosh, I hope this helps you guys. If you even think you might want to go hunting, or think you might want to try your hand at, I mean, maybe somebody else. I know back east they have an excess of deer, and you can get multiple deer. We can only get one. If we're lucky enough to get a tag, it's a lottery draw, and then you're allowed one. And you know, I mean, I was blessed to harvest a deer, but my husband was not. So yeah, anyway, that being said, we're going to get moving on this. I hope everything is helping you along the way on questions and answers, and why I do things the way I'm doing it. And I wish I had 3 more days off so I could do a bunch of venison canning and stuff, but I'll just take stuff out of the freezer all at once. I know how big those packages are, and I'll be able to judge how much I need to take out, and then I'll do it. So anyway, there you go. And I'm telling you, it tastes phenomenal. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, so last but not least, that last bowl gave us 7 packages of steaks, or no, 5 packages of steaks, 2 of stew meat, and 4 of grind meat. So here we go. We're on the last deal of this. I've already got a package of the stew meat, and you can see how much I like a full quart bag. So now we're gonna get on this. That is gonna go I really try to be pretty picky. I like to have enough grind meat, but I don't want to put stuff through this grinder, so anyway. So we're going to get going on this. We've got probably 2 packages of steaks here. I don't see any more steaks in the mix. And let's see. Yeah, two small packages of steaks left. And then this, I think this is going to be a big bowl of grind. So we're going to really have a nice amount of meat for winter. So let me get going. So before I close this until I'm done, I wanted to let you know that in the past we've actually added ground pork to this for fat content. And I also like to add applewood smoked bacon, and I just cut it into, 1-inch pieces and throw it through the grinder as well. It's getting late tonight, and so I'm probably not going to do that. I can take these packages out and do that at any time. The bacon tends to lose, and as the breakfast sausage as well, tends to lose its flavoring for some reason as it sits in the freezer. So I almost would rather do it when we get, when we take the package out, to add that in there. But this is how I do it, and we're almost done with this deer. Thank goodness, I've spent a lot of time with this guy. Anyway, I will bring you back and let you know how much I get out of this last bowl, and you guys can tally it up, because I know it's a big bin and a half in the freezer, so it's a lot of meat. Anyway, okay, I'll be back. Okay, so there's the end result. 2 packages of stew meat, 2 packages of grind meat, and 2 packages of steak. And my relationship with this deer is now coming to a close for now, as far as what I have to do to take care of all the meat. It was a big chore, but I'm so thankful, and I just have to tell you, no matter what kind of animal you're harvesting, whether it be a deer or a chicken or a rabbit, for your own consumption, it's a humbling experience, and I'm very, very thankful for the opportunity and for, wow, the blessing and the bounty. And so that being said, we're going to appreciate and enjoy every bit of this meat for the next year. And I appreciate you guys all coming along for this ride and, showing all your support. It's been very, very uplifting. Actually, I was a little hesitant to put some of this on YouTube, but you guys have all been awesome, like always. I have a great subscribership. You guys are amazing. So I wouldn't have it any other way, and I would share everything with you if I could. So that being said, we're going to move on to the next video, and I hope if you like this, you give me a thumbs up. All right, guys? And I hope you come back next time, because you never know what I might be doing. All right, guys. God bless.